Welcome to Keeping It Realty.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Keeping It Realty. I'm your host, Martha Smith.
And I'm your co-host, Natalia Pierantoni.
And today we're going to be talking about something that all sellers want to know. How do you sell your home fast and for the most amount of money?
Ooh. Okay. Well, whether if you're, thinking about selling soon or just curious about the process, we're here to spill some tea.
Here's what sellers need to know about selling their home in 2025. All right, let's start off with the basics.
Okay, let's do it. So step one, understand your local market. Right? So is it a buyer or seller's market? First of all, we need to notify that. How fast the homes are selling in the market. And then what's the average price for homes?
Correct. And step two, hire the right agent. Not all agents are created the same. What is their marketing strategy? What will they do to promote your home and get it out to as many eyes as possible? And make sure that they have a track record for selling homes, quickly and for the most amount of money.
Absolutely. Step three, declutter and depersonalize. This is super important. Less is more. You don't want to go in there and being like, oh, look at all my family.
Yeah, take out any pictures of your family, any photos, anything personal in the home. I would remove it. You don't want anybody coming in there to see the home and seeing who lives there.
Yeah, and decorations, right? The less is more. Sometimes, a lot of sellers decorate their beautiful homes.
Yeah, make the space look bigger. Colors, too, are wild. Sometimes people paint their homes like wild colors,
Keep it neutral.
Yeah, keep it neutral. Step four, make the necessary repairs. Patch up any holes, paint, fix any leaky faucets, little small repairs here and there. They go a long way. Also, like your front door. People don't pay attention to their front door, but maybe a little coat of paint or cleaning it makes a huge difference. A little bit of light yard work, make your garden look nice or your front yard.
For sure. That extra time and
curb appeal.
work.
Pro tip, consider a pre-listing inspection. You can hire an inspector to come out and give you a general inspection of the house. And that way, when a buyer does put in an offer to the house, you'll know what their inspector is going to find.
Exactly. So you're prepared.
You can get ahead of it.
You could actually do it, ahead of them. But
that's right.
All right. So let's talk about how to price your home.
Pricing is everything. Mm-hmm. If you price it too high, the house will sit.
Uh-huh.
What were you going to say?
Oh, no, nothing.
All right. So the top 3 common pricing mistakes. Overpricing, which we just talked about.
Yes.
If your house is overpriced, people are going to think something's wrong with it. And you got to think about it. These buyers that are looking for homes, they're looking for homes under this criteria, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, just like the home you're listing. So they know more or less what the prices of these homes are. And if yours is way up here, then 1, you might lose buyers because they're not even going to look at that price point. Mm-hmm. And 2, they might think that, they're going to know that you're overpriced and not want to buy your house or take you serious.
Exactly.
Another mistake is like when sellers price with emotion. Can you explain a little bit about pricing with emotions, or you want me to talk about it?
Well, I would say a seller that's been there for years and they have this sentiment, or, they raised their kids there. They had their parents there for so long and they just made all these memories. So they're attached to it, right? So,
and unfortunately, just because you love the home and you have all these memories doesn't mean that the value of the home is going to equate to like $1 million for this.
Yeah, let's keep it real.
House. Exactly.
Be realistic.
Let's be realistic.
There's some sellers that aren't, but it's okay. We'll work with them.
Right. Don't ignore the comps. Make sure that your agent reviews with you what's selling around your area, compare it to your house, and that way you'll come up with, the right price for the home.
Okay, so pro tip, homes that sit on the market for too long often end up selling for so much less.
This is true.
So you know what? You need to just price it right from the bat, from the start,
100%.
Okay, so let's talk about how to get more buyers interested in purchasing.
Okay, yeah, because just throwing a home on the MLS doesn't do it anymore, does it?
Nope. But you know what's one of my favorites that does work?
What?
Marketing.
I know. You're very good at it.
Yeah. So, think of your home as a product, right? So just it needs the right packaging, the marketing that needs to stand out, right? So I would say social media. Like you're pretty big on social media. I think that's a big avenue that we could definitely use as like an asset to us, right?
Right. Your agent should be posting your house on social media, Facebook, Instagram. If they have a YouTube channel, TikTok, you want to get as many eyeballs on this home as possible. Another thing that I do, Zillow Showcase.
Zillow Showcase.
It's a great. Not all agents do it because it costs a little extra, but we do it. And it really helps, people that are on Zillow, your house will come to the top and they'll see it. So definitely want to take advantage of that. Virtual staging.
Yes. Virtual staging, professional pictures, tours. Like, I think that's huge, right? To make sure that your home is, look nice.
Absolutely. If your agent is taking photos with their phone, no, rethink your whole idea. You want professional photos.
Drones,
aerial. Matterport. You want somebody to be able to take a tour guide through, Zillow. You guys have seen it where you just walk through the house. All of that stuff. That's called Matterport. You want to make sure that they're doing that.
So fun fact.
Wait, before that, you mentioned virtual staging.
Yes.
I actually just did this recently. I had a customer, staging a home can be a little pricey. Depending on the size of the home, and not every seller wants to spend that money, and that's understandable. One thing that we do that is a cost-effective way to give the buyers an idea of what the home is going to look like is doing the virtual staging. So I love doing that. It's a fraction of the price, and basically it's the photo of an empty room, and we're able to put, couches, furniture, whatever, to give the buyer. Yeah, it's pretty fun, and it gives the buyer the idea, of what they can fit in there.
What was that game we used to play in the 90s? What was it called?
I don't know because I'm not that old.
Like The Sims, wasn't it? The Sims. Where you would create your own little,
Yes. Yeah, so it's something like that.
Something like that, a little similar.
It really is.
Yeah.
Okay, so
a fun fact, right? So homes with professional pictures, right, or photos, they sell 32% faster.
Interesting.
Than others that don't.
Yeah, I knew that they did sell faster, but I didn't know exactly how much. So thanks for telling us that.
So some time for real life. You want to tell us a little bit of your story, one of the best listing experience you've had?
Well, so most people are thinking my best listing experience is a situation where I listed the home and sold it so fast and got all this money.
Yeah, just a quick,
easy. But no, one of my recent listings was an older couple, and they had their home on the market with another agent, and they were on the market for 11 months. The listing expired. They didn't sell. And then I met them. And I ran some comps. They were a little overpriced, but not much.
Okay.
And we were able to, I did some virtual staging on that one because they didn't want to spend any more money. They dropped the price just a little bit. And I was able to sell their home for them. They were moving to Alabama to be closer to their family. They were old, and they were older, like elderly, but they were so cute. They had the cutest little love story. So to me, that one stands out right now.
So what happened with the first agent? Like do you know what happened?
The first agent, I'm not going to badmouth any agents, but she was one of these agents that just listed the house and just sat back and waited for it to sell itself. And you gotta. But
was it overpriced?
It was overpriced.
Okay, that explains
it. She didn't do any open houses. She didn't promote it on any social media. The advertising was just put on the MLS. And
that's key, open houses, right? Like if the realtor doesn't do open houses, there's something wrong. Or get somebody to do their open houses, right?
Right.
Because that's exposure.
I mean, and I've also had clients where they don't want open houses at their house. And you still can sell if you don't do an open house. But doing an open house generally gets more eyeballs on it and lets your neighbors come and see. Maybe your neighbor has a friend that wants to purchase the house,
Yeah, they're here on vacation or whatnot. Okay, so that's amazing. But let's be real, right? Like not all listings are, go smoothly. So what's one of the worst listing situations you've had to experience?
Okay, we run into crazy things all the time, but for me, I think the worst, and it happens more often than not, and I hate to admit this, but like taking a listing overpriced. So you want to make your client happy. They have this number in their head and that's what they want to sell for. And you're telling them, okay, but this is what the comps say. And you still take the listing and then the listing ends up sitting and you don't sell. And then you slowly bring the price down to the number that you wanted in the beginning. But now you've been on the market for so long that ship kind of sailed and then the listing expires.
I get it.
The market shifted recently. We were in a seller's market, and then it kind of shifted to a buyer's market.
And we're just, So the biggest takeaway, right? So I believe that they should listen to your agents because we are always in the market. We're like educated on like the market research and just seeing like,
and we're seeing it. We're out there.
It works, right?
Yeah.
And they're just stop being so stubborn.
Stop being stubborn. Sometimes, listen, when you price your house right,
yes,
you create what's called a bidding war. And that's exactly where you want to be, right? You price it a little lower. Just think about this. Your house is worth, let's say, $500, but you list it at $480. You're $20,000 under. Well, guess what? Everybody's going to see it and everybody's going to be like, whoa, I want that house. And now you have 5 people battling for your house.
Exactly.
And you know what? Highest and best gets it. And that drives the price up to over what your house is worth. So pro tip would be that. Price it right. Even price it a little under. It might get you where you want to be.
Okay. So what? Let's do a Q&A.
Q&A. You ready? All right. Should I renovate before listing my house?
I would say it depends on the seller situation. Just depends on their financial situation.
I
honestly.
agree. And I'll elaborate on that. Yeah. Some sellers, they're in a bind. They don't have the money to renovate the house or do the renovations that are needed. You can always offer a credit to the buyer.
Yes. That's huge.
You can also say that you'll make any repairs after closing when you've been paid, agree to fix the roof or whatever. So everything is negotiable.
Everything is negotiable. I was about to say that. Yes.
Yeah.
Truly is. If you don't ask, you never get right.
Right. What if somebody asks, how long will my house take to sell?
Oh, well, it honestly depends on the market, right? Or how we price it. Again, back to that. Pricing it right, the market, if it's marketed correctly, exposed, shown off. So.
Correct. The agent. When is the best time to sell a house?
I would say spring and summer are the best time.
I agree.
Yeah, but honestly, like year round, we sell all the time.
All year. All year houses are selling.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have to, we kind of touched base on this, do you have to do open houses?
We don't have to, but I think it's definitely recommended, at least for the first month, right? Once it hits the market, that's where you have the most attraction.
Right.
So I would agree to at least the first couple of weeks.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And the last one, what's the number one thing that you should do before listing your house?
Declutter.
Clean.
Yes, clean it.
Paint.
Make it smell good.
Yeah.
Like,
make it nice.
You want to sell it, right? You just don't want to
Right. First impression is everything. Remember, these buyers are going and seeing multiple houses in one day. So when they come to your house, what is it about your house that stands out that makes them want to buy this house?
You know what I just thought about?
What?
When sellers have tenants. Right?
Yeah.
Like, make sure you guys have like a really good relationship with the tenant.
The tenant will ruin your sale.
Oh yeah, they will make it dark. Like, I can't even see the windows in there. They'll have every single cat or dog and
dude,
babies crying all over.
That reminds me. I have a story and I have to share.
Okay.
So I had these clients and they were looking for a house and they were hell bent on this house. And it was so hard for us to get a showing scheduled because they had tenants. And so I'm going back and forth with the listing agent, like, I want to see this house. When can we see it? So we finally agree on a date. And I walk in with my clients. The house is supposed to be empty when we go show it. Nobody's supposed to be in there. As I stick the key in and I open, there's a grown man with headphones sitting in like this little living room area. No, he was playing video games.
Okay.
And then I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm an agent. I'm here to show the house. And they're like, oh yeah, that's fine. And I was like, okay. So I'm looking around. The kitchen had a bunch of dirty dishes. The house was dirty. In the rooms, there was people in the room.
I'm telling you,
so
man. Like, prepare these tenants, please.
I looked at my client and I was like, do you want to continue seeing the house? And they were like, no, let's go. We didn't even finish seeing the whole house. It was so uncomfortable.
But you know what? I think that sometimes they do that on purpose.
Oh, for sure.
So they
that
don't
was
like
100%. Because imagine if the seller actually sells the house, then those people have to move. Right. Exactly.
I mean, unless it's an investor, and hey, you can like double check on the lease with them.
No, and that was an option. Like they could stay there for a couple of months. But in my particular case, my buyers needed to buy to live there. Yeah. And the house itself, the bones, the outside was great, but the inside, when you open. I think we even saw a roach in the kitchen.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's Florida sometimes.
It's Florida. I mean, roaches are roaches, but I'm just saying. So,
Okay.
Final tips for the sellers.
Pricing it right. Marketing, preparation.
And the right agent. So shameless plug. If you guys are looking to sell your home,
Yes.
you can contact us, Martha Smith.
Or Natalia. Thank you all for tuning into our podcast. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did.
Don't forget to follow us on social media at keepingitreal_T and share this episode with all your friends.
If you guys have any questions and topics that you guys would like for us for future episodes, let us know. Shoot us a message. We would love to hear from you guys.
See you next time on Keeping It Real T.